I'm telling you, you're not going to believe this story. Today's rocker used to give this beautiful girl a ride home from school. He was head over heels in love with this girl, but she had no idea. He wanted her to notice him, but he was already stuck in the friend zone. So he wrote a song about her and he brought it to his band. They put some relish on it. It blew up. It became the fastest selling song in Warner Brothers history. Unfortunately, it'd be a one-hit wonder, but this guy was a fighter. He not only won the girl's heart with this song, he married her, and he rose from the ashes to form another band that would become one of the biggest rock acts of the 80s, and he's even gotten to the top of the charts again with one of the biggest songs ever. Coming up next, an interview with him that tells the full story on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you remember the lyrics to just about every 60s, 70s, and 80s song, but forget why you walked into the next room, you're going to dig this music community, the story straight from the legends. Make sure to subscribe below right now and click the bell so that you can be a member of this community and you don't miss out. We also have a way to support our mission and keep this channel alive. It's our Patreon, where you can get more videos. You can also become an honorary producer, get your name on your favorite episode. Check on that below. This helps us immensely. We also have some merch below. Let people know that you're a music lover. So it's time for another edition of our series, Bottle Light. This is where we celebrate a song that was king for a day or for many days. We honor artists and bands and that one glorious hit that they had that rocketed up the charts and for reasons unknown, didn't have another hit. We all know them for the term one-hit wonder, but we try to step beyond that and celebrate them as lightning in a bottle. So today's Bottle Lightning classic comes from a man with purple hair. He's written or co-written hits for everybody from the Beach Boys to Sammy Hagar to Lynyrd Skynyrd to 38 Special, and for his own bands as well, Jim Peterik. He started performing in 1964 with some of his schoolmates in Illinois as the Ides of March, when their early local hit came out and did well on the local charts. Future REO Speedwagon frontman Kevin Cronin begged them to be the band at his high school senior prom. Much later, that experience would come full circle, but I'm going to let Jim tell you about that. So it was in the late 60s and really early 1970, the Ides of March started to make their mark. It's when Jim wrote a little ditty called Vehicle. Ended up going all the way to number 2, becoming the fastest selling single in Warner Brothers history. Now, he wrote the song about a girl that he was stuck on in that moment. And at that time, he felt that she used him only for transportation, getting her to and from modeling school. The energizing horns and the fierce lead vocal turned this song into a classic of the 70s, and it has some funny stories tied to it. I'm going to let Jim tell you the rest. Now, Peterik graduated from Morton Junior College in 1970, and he attended college classes while Vehicle became a national hit. Great God in heaven, you know I love you. Unfortunately, after 3 more albums and many singles, they couldn't snag another top 40. Or really another hit, so the Ides of March broke up from there. And in 1976, Jim released a solo album, Don't Fight the Feeling, touring as the Jim Peterik Band with some great players to back him. But he couldn't break the charts there either. Finally, in 1978, he co-founded the band Survivor. They struggled to make it. That was until one Sylvester Stallone heard about him and wanted them to create the anthem for his third Rocky film. Having been rejected by Queen, he wanted to use their hit Another One Bites the Dust in the opening of Rocky III. Let's go! Couldn't get it, so he called Jim, got his answering machine, and he pitched him on that answering machine, telling him that he wanted a song that would be as big as an anthem as Another One Bites the Dust. So Jim and his guitarist and co-writing partner Frankie Sullivan came up with one of the biggest movie anthems ever, Eye of the Tiger, which went to number 1 for 6 weeks in 1982. So up next, Jim Peterik himself. He's going to tell us the story of this unbelievable comeback, if he ended up playing Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon's prom, and if he ever got a date with the woman who inspired Vehicle. The whole story is coming up. Now, as we go into this interview with Jim, I do want to thank our sponsor, our amazing sponsor, Zenni Eyewear. With summer here and with inflation high, Zenni is your only choice if you're looking for cost-effective and quality frames or sunglasses. Go to Zenni.com today to design your exact frames. All you do is choose your color, your style, your shape, and you add great features like blue blocks that help your eyes with exposure to digital blue light. You can get a pair of glasses starting at just $6.95. Check it out at Zenni.com. Here's Jim with the story. Let's talk about the Ides of March. I want to jump into Vehicle, which is one of the great songs of all time. I mean, to write 2 or 3 or 4 songs that everybody knows the second that they hear it, that's amazing. Vehicle is definitely one of those songs. I mean, it was a number 2 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, number 1 on many other charts. Fastest selling single in Warner Brothers history.
Yes.
That's incredible.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And we caught lightning in a bottle with that.
Neil Diamond story. You got to start with that one.
Oh my God. Well, I learned a lot from Neil Diamond in a kind of a negative way. But the Ides of March, we had the hit called You Wouldn't Listen on Parrot Labels in 1966. You wouldn't listen to me, you wouldn't listen. Followed it up with Roller Coaster. And did you ever take a ride on a roller coaster? And then a string of stiffs, as they said. And all of a sudden we got a booking at Leiden East High School to open up for Neil Diamond. This was, Mecca, for us, because we love Neil Diamond. Who doesn't? But Peterik, with his headstrong way, guys, we got to learn all new songs for the Neil Diamond show. Those aren't good enough, the ones that we've been playing for the last 3 years, right? Yeah. The guys were I'm the musical leader. Okay, so we went up the mountain and we learned Those Were the Days, My Friend by Mary Hopkins. Those were the days, my friend. And we learned some Gary Puckett tunes, The Reverend Mr. Posey, because I love that song. Good morning, Reverend Posey. And in the audience was our future managers, the ones that would go on to get us our deal with Warner Brothers, et cetera. And so 2 things after the show. First of all, we did an encore that nobody asked for. That's how delusional we were. And we went back out there and did another one. And people are going, okay, So after the show, still inflated on this whole experience, I went up to Neil Diamond and I said, Neil, you're my hero. What did you think of the show? And he said, Jim, next time, only do your best material. Got it, Neil. Right. I never forgot that. And never again did we go and road test our songs for the first time in front of a huge audience. So then we went to the dressing room and we met our future managers and they're going, we see a lot of potential there, but it needs a lot of work.
Right.
So that's how that whole thing started. And then I really got sharp and I realized how good things have to be to really reach that bar. He was such a great songwriter, and that's the main thing about Kevin. Not only is he a great singer, but he's a great songwriter. And those songs resonate like forever. And there's a few commercials out right now that use those songs, and that's a sign of a great song is when you have a Toyota commercial or whatever, He is such a good guy. It just comes through. He never forgets his friends. He never got too big, or his britches didn't get too big. He was always just the same Oak Lawn guy that I hired. He's the same Oak Lawn guy who hired the Ides of March to play the senior prom. Never changed, not at all. He never got the big attitude, and that's why people love him.
That's so cool that he played your senior prom, and then later on you were opening for his band. I mean,
I know. See how things go around,
You can't script it better than that.
I know, really.
And when you're picking songs, you're like, what's that one song, the Vehicle song, right?
Well, right. I mean, we had been doing that at all the teen clubs in Chicago. I wrote it, it's a long story behind that one, because I wrote it for my ex-girlfriend who I was trying to win back. And she was calling me for rides, even though we weren't dating. And I would, okay, I'll give you a ride. I took her to modeling school a couple of times. Finally, I started resenting this because I wasn't even getting a kiss on the cheek, And I said, Karen, all I am is your vehicle, baby. You know.
I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I'm your vehicle, woman.
And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm your limo service. What is this?" You know. She said, "Well, you know, whatever. You know, you're not my boyfriend." Okay, great. So all of a sudden, I just heard this riff in my head. Ba-da, ba, ba-da. You know, I go, that's strong. You know. I said, maybe if I write her the song, I can win her back, you know?
Yeah.
And, well, I played it for the guys. We worked it out. I remember the electric going through my heart when I first heard that horn riff in Larry's basement where we were rehearsing. And all of a sudden I started, I'm a friendless stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car?
Well, I'm a friendless stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my...
And I was like, I remember we invited our little next door neighbor. He was about, 18. And of course we were 19. So he's about our contemporary. And he was sitting there with his jaw drop, the literal jaw drop moment, like, oh my God. And we knew we had something. So we started playing it at all the dances, and the dance floor would fill up for the song,
I got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star.
But at that point, we didn't know it was a hit record. We just knew it was a great dance song. So when we did a demo tape for Warner Brothers, we put it last on the demo because we didn't value it.
Yeah.
And we put all these other highfalutin songs first, And Joe Smith got a copy of the tape and said, well, the first three are not that good, but man, that last one's a smash. They go, really? That's how ignorant we were.
I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go.
I also read that it was inspired by an unintentionally funny anti-drug
Pamphlet.
ad
It was a
or
pamphlet.
Pamphlet. There you go.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that first line of the song, I'm the friendly stranger in the black sedan, won't you hop inside my car? That became an iconic line. Originally, the line was, I got a set of wheels, pretty baby, won't you hop inside my car? Didn't quite have the rhythm. So I'm sitting in chemistry class in senior high school, and Bill Greiner was a registered stoner. He would come baked to every class. And he, you know how they used to get the giggles, and he's like, Jim, you got to see this pamphlet. And he opened it up as anti-drug pamphlet that they distributed to all the high schools. And there was this little cartoon of the friendly stranger, and I go, friendly stranger. And of course he was in a black sedan, with the window down, and I'm the friendly stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? Bingo, I wrote it down.
Yeah.
And that became, the inspiration point of that song.
I'm the friendless stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car?
And that's how that happened.
And Blood, Sweat, and Tears, I Can't Quit Her also had a inspiration on that. You kind of sped that up.
Yeah, that first album, Child is Father to the Man, iconic record, with Al Cooper. That was that Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And that, just really resonated with me. And as a songwriter, I think all of us songwriters are alchemists as well as songwriters. And so I use that as an inspiration point to the...
David Clayton Thomas was a big influence, and of course he was influenced by Ray Charles. There was that,
I know.
that bluesy.
I know. I idolized David Clayton Thomas, his vocal style. And in fact, to this day, people think Vehicle was by BS&T, which is kind of funny.
The horns. And
and it's a funny story, but Bo Bice, who came in number 2 back in 08, maybe, American Idol, sang Vehicle to the top again. Yeah. In his version
number one again?
with Richie Sambora playing the lead.
I'm your vehicle, woman. But now I'm so
You didn't call me. Damn it.
GM also was on the GM
with the Cadillac going like that. I mean, it's the gift that keeps giving.
And Stallone too, and Laco.
Oh yeah. See, he was a big fan of that song, which is another story, but not for this interview.
Yeah. What's cool is I read when you recorded it, you're mimicking a little bit David Clayton Thomas, but he told you, sing with your own voice.
Oh, yeah. Our manager, producer, Frank Rand, take one, I was just cloning the guy. And he said, Jimmy, sing with your own voice. Damn it, you're not David Clayton Thomas. And I got kind of PO'd, you know. And I said, okay. But by doing that, I relaxed totally. And that vocal is so relaxed because I was PO'd. I was going, okay, well, I'll just slough through this one. Well, that was the master take.
If you wants to be a movie star, I can take you to a Hollywood.
Well, and Paul Schaefer also has covered it so many times on David Letterman.
Good friend of mine, he played that thing almost twice a month. Yeah.
All those horns, it just, when you hear that song, it just lifts you up.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, that was our own horn section. That wasn't sidemen.
Right.
They were in the band, you know.
Wow.
And a real secret ingredient, secret sauce to that is I doubled all the horns with maestro fuzz tone. I doubled the brass.
Wow.
And it's just subliminal, but it adds this meat to the brass. So
Oh, yeah.
it was kind of cool. By the way, Karen was the girl that I wrote Vehicle for.
Yeah.
And how many years? 47 years later, I'm still her vehicle.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
married
so awesome.
that long, and
That's like 150 years in entertainment.
I know, that's like dog years, man. But yeah, she's my toughest critic and my biggest fan. She's awesome.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about Vehicle. It's an amazing song. Love the horns. Once you hear it once, you can never unhear it. It's just amazing. Also, Jim Peterik, founder of the Ides of March and Survivor. What are your memories of these songs and these albums? If you dig our content, we invite you to become a full-time part of our community by subscribing below. Check out our new content on Patreon as well. Help us keep the music alive. That's the idea. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.